So yeah, I remember like crying in like the arms of my girlfriend because I was like I was like I was like sad that I kind of like felt like I like lost myself, but I was also like so overwhelmed with like inspiration and like purpose. It was like really like a a weird cocktail of emotions. And I think about that day a lot when I'm making the album.
Hmm.
It's like what I use as like motivation.
Welcome to Beyond the Bass, a podcast where we go beyond the music and into the full, authentic stories of your favorite artists. No sound bites or surface level moments. This is truly a space for depth, honesty, and connection. It's my hope you'll walk away feeling more connected to your favorite artists and maybe even a tad more inspired to pursue your own passions too. Today's guest is Peter Fithian, better known as Fraxure. He's a Denver-based producer that blends heavy dubstep, emotional drum and bass, and wonky bass lines. He's collaborated with artists such as DJ Diesel, Spag Hetty, and Tynan, and played massive festivals such as Lost Lands and Global Dance Fest. Feel free to listen in pieces or jump around as you like. Now let's dive in. What's up, brother?
Sick.
How we doing?
Good, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, bro. Just working on this like rhythm preset pack all week. I don't know
Nice.
if I showed you that, but
Did not.
been like just building like a website for it. I've been vibe coding it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You're like familiar at all? Have you ever?
I've never vibe coded.
This is my first time.
I've heard great things. Also heard not so great things.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah. What not so great things?
Well, just like it doesn't always work. And it's like,
Right.
does
Yeah.
bad code.
Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah, AI can be stupid sometimes
Yeah.
and hallucinate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
I've had my fair share of AI issues.
yeah.
On things
same,
unrelated to
Same. Yeah.
this. Cool, man. As you
Yeah.
probably know, I usually kick this off with a baby photo, or some sort of childhood photo, of which I don't really have for you.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna do that today.
I would have been very surprised if you had one.
Well, I mean,
I'm pretty offline.
I tried. Yeah.
I'm pretty
Not that offline. Don't worry. We still got some other surprises in
Okay.
store.
Shoot.
But I would love to start by asking you what you would hope listeners to this episode or watchers take away from your story, take away from you.
Oh man. I don't know. I mean, maybe kind of cliche, but honestly, like super cliche. But I feel like a big theme of like my story has just been like, if you have like a passion for something, like you can do it as long as you find the time and practice just a little every single day. You know, I feel like a lot of what I think about is like people having like full-time jobs and stuff and like a little passion on the side, like eventually that can turn into your career. Especially in this economy, I think that's like a really important thing for everybody to have, if that's your thing. Depends what it is, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. I just hope like that people can see, I guess, from like my path, how I guess just like taught myself music and how that's pretty much made like what my life is today. So yeah.
Totally. I love it. I think what's interesting about your path, the little I know based on our conversation and some of the research I did, is it's rather bumpy. There were some ups and some downs, and there were some times where you almost walked away. So I'm really curious where,
For sure.
what that passion was like in the background that ultimately kept you doing it. So I'm going to remember that and trace that through the episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So no baby photos, but I had to give you a surprise of some sort.
Oh God.
So why don't you reach back behind your left side, behind this cushion?
Right here.
Behind the other cushion.
Like all the way back.
Yeah,
here.
all the way back there.
Dude, let's go. You know me well already. Fire.
I wasn't sure what flavor you liked. I guessed green based on my research, but I might have gotten the wrong green.
I actually haven't had this one.
Oh, he's trying it for the first time.
I like them all. Dude, yeah. Big yerba guy.
Let's get a little taste test if you haven't had it yet.
That's fresh. That's fresh. It's like the low sugar kind, which I haven't had before,
Mm.
but I'm messing with it. Yeah. And like mango stuff. I'm like I'm just like I'm addicted to like sugary drinks. I'm just like a soda person all the time, so or like yerba person and caffeine, so
Well, there you
thanks,
go.
bro.
Now you got two. I saw
Yeah,
you brought
fire.
one.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm like actually, I'm gonna be off like 300 milligrams of caffeine by the end of this. Just like
We're lock in,
geeking.
folks.
Mhm.
Lock in, because Peter over here is gonna be locked.
Gonna be insane. Yeah.
I want to start by rewinding the clock. And I want to touch on something interesting that I found when I was looking through some social media stuff.
Okay.
So there are 3 tweets that I'm going to read to you.
Oh, not the tweets, bro. That's like a long time ago. Okay.
The first one, I watched a sad movie to make myself cry. Such a good feeling.
Damn.
June 8th, 2021. The second one, July 16th, 2021. I'm so fucking good at crying.
What the hell?
September 24th, 2021. Why are no guys as sensitive as me?
Bro. Wow, I can't believe I was tweeting that into the void, bro. That's like so embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. I think it's
Yeah.
actually like raw.
It's like so me too. Just like
Yeah. So
that's
I'm
funny.
so curious.
Wow, I've completely
Like, you're
forgot
highly
about
aware of
that.
like you know, you're sensitive, you cry, you process your emotions. And I'm really curious where that comes from. Like, is that something that was ever present in your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been just like a super emotional dude. I was a super emotional kid. I don't know. I think I've always been just a very like sensitive person, especially sensitive to like other people's emotions. And I like grew up with parents that were very like open to that and accepting of that. Especially like my mom. Like I consider like my mom and myself to be very much like the same person. We're both very like emotionally, we're just very emotional people.
Mm.
And then like my dad and my brother, they're kind of the same, and they like balance us out because they're more like analytical, less emotional, I would say.
Yeah. And so what was that like growing up as like an emotional kid?
It was like it was like hard, I would say, for the beginning, I guess, because I kind of just feel like I like growing up, I just had all these emotions. I like didn't really know like what to do with them or like how to explain them, how to like talk about them. But that was like super early on. Like that was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. Like there would be like drama in elementary school with like girls and stuff, and like there would be emotions like going on there that I would be like, what the hell? So very early on, I was like talking to like my mom and my dad about like my feelings, and
Yeah.
especially like 6th, 7th grade, like so much drama. Like,
Are you open to sharing some of the drama?
of course, yeah, of
Okay.
course, yeah. It was like, I had like my best friend in middle school. He was like dating a girl. I was dating another girl. And then like end of 6th grade, I ended up having like feelings for his girlfriend.
Oh.
And I like told her, and then she broke up with him, and she and I got together, and it was just like, it was horrible. I mean, I like totally betrayed like my best friend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like super bad. And also like a lot. It was just like a really emotional time for me because it created this like giant rift in me and my best friend's like friendship. He had a like very different way of processing it than I did. I wanted to like talk about everything, and yeah, it was just like a for like a 6th grader, like a crazy thing to go through to try and figure out like how to communicate with your friends through something like that.
Yeah.
And like basically I was like being like a horrible person in that situation too. So
Yeah. What did you think at that time?
I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I remember I like the way that I did it. I mean, basically I was just like super good friends with like my best friend's girlfriend. We would like all hang out. I was like super good friends with her. And like end of the school year, I sent her like a text that I meant to send to another friend, like talking about how I liked her. Yeah. 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 I'm like a calculated piece of shit. Yeah.
Clip it.
Clip it.
It's living forever.
Clip it. This is not what I expected to get into in the beginning, but this is awesome. Yeah. So I wonder what this like says about me as a person now. I mean,
listen, you're in 6th grade. Like,
yeah. That's kind of why it's like, it's honestly just so funny to think about now. But yeah, so I plotted that out, I guess. And then, I mean, essentially her response was like, I have feelings for you too. And I mean, I don't know how fast this all like happened, but she like broke up with like my best friend. And then she and I were like secretly kind of together. Like we would like kiss in the hallway, like nobody knew about it or whatever.
6th grade.
Yeah. And I also, when I told, this is like so confusing, but I told my best friend's girlfriend I had feelings for her. I also had a girlfriend at the time. So I broke up with my current girlfriend. And then me and my best friend's now ex, like we're secretly together for a second. But like people knew. And also, I don't know. Yeah, people knew. Anyways, the overarching point is there's like an insane amount of drama just in like my 6th grade. And I would like come home and pretty much tell like my mom and my dad like all about everything going on. And like it got pretty bad. Like over that like summer and stuff, like things did not end well for me, as you might.
I mean, yeah.
Like, so over that like summer, she, like my best friend's like ex / like girlfriend, whatever, she ended up like kind of going like back and forth between us, and like neither of us knew about it. Like even me and my best friend had the same birthday, September 12th, and she was like secretly going and like kissing me and then kissing him on the same day, and it was like, it sucked. Yeah, it really sucked. But it was like, I mean, I put myself in that situation for sure. So there was like that self-reflection. And it was also just like a lot of like, it was like heartbreaking, and it was like middle school. So it was like the first time I was like experiencing something like that, I guess. It's like heartbreaking, like for me to screw up like me and my best friend's like friendship so much and like betray him. And also to be like betrayed by a person that used to be like my friend that I had feelings for. So it was just like a bunch to deal with, and I thankfully grew up in a family where I could like talk to my parents about all that stuff, and me being like the asshole in that situation, like they didn't think I was like a bad person or something, you know. They're just like very much like, yeah, you're going through life and you're like learning. And I'm talking about like coming home and like crying about like everything, you know, and just like, yeah. But that like basically taught me how to like really like think about my feelings and be like be okay with like not knowing how to explain my feelings, being able to like compartmentalize my feelings in different like situations.
And so was it a combination of you wanting to voice these feelings and your parents providing the space? Like what came first? I'm curious. Was your parents like really encouraging you growing up to speak about your feelings, or maybe your mom, or
it was definitely me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely me. Like, cause my brother is not like that at all. Like his middle school experience, like my mom was like really sad because he would like come home and she'd be like, how was your day? Like, what's going on? She's so used to me coming home and being like, there's all this drama going on. So like, yeah, Eric would come home from school and he'd be like, yeah, my day was good. And he's just a very quiet kid, when he was in middle school and stuff. So yeah, and my parents were never like, you need to talk about your feelings or anything like that. Like he just didn't really, it wasn't that deep for him.
Yeah.
Like he was just like, doing his thing. And he didn't have any crazy drama going on. He had like a girlfriend towards like 8th grade and stuff, and then would like talk about that stuff, and we'd all be like, oh, like finally, like something's going on.
And so it sounds like you had a close relationship with your mom because you were both
Super.
like, yeah.
Yeah, me and my mom's like emotions are like throughout my childhood, like all like intertwined, tied up. Which was like really great, and also like there's like some cons to that too, I would say.
How so?
I think when I was like trying to get out of when I was like probably like leaving the nest, I would say, as I got like older, it was hard for us to like adjust to that after like just being super like bonded all of my childhood, I guess, and I'm like moving on to like a new life, I guess, and talking to her less about stuff.
Sure.
So
yeah. So how did your relationship with your mom influence your upbringing? And when I more so mean like the strength of that relationship.
I feel like the influence that my mom had on like who I am today is like everything. And obviously just like my entire family, but yeah, I feel like pretty much like everything we're talking about is like she really taught me how to be like comfortable with my emotions, like especially as like a guy. I feel like there's like some social stigma around that sometimes, so she really taught me to just like be like super unapologetically like comfortable with like being an emotional person. And I think also being an emotional person has like hugely, I think it has helped me lead a happier life for sure. So I feel like that's like, I guess the biggest like takeaway from how like me and my mom's relationship and how I was like raised and stuff. Because yeah, I can like be at peace with myself in a lot of ways and like know what I want. But also in the times when I feel confused and I don't know what I want and I feel like I don't understand how I feel, I'm still like okay with that because I know that's like how it is. It just like is like that sometimes, and then you figure it out.
And were you close with your dad and your brother?
I'm insanely close with my brother. I mean, yeah, me and my
growing
brother.
up, you were too?
Yeah. Like, I mean, me and my brother, like, we like fought and stuff and had the whole sibling beef, whatever. But we were always like close and we always like loved each other. He's like 4 years younger than me, so I've always been like super protective of him. But my brother and I became like especially close probably towards like when he was like coming out of like middle school, I feel like, and I was like almost like a senior in high school or something. Because we started to have like a lot more in common as like boys, I guess, and all that. And I really liked watching him go through the things that I had like just gone through like 4 years ago or whatever with like girls and blah blah blah.
You probably gave him some really good advice after your fuck ups.
I was like, don't do don't try and date your best friend's girlfriend. Dumbass. Which genuinely, like, that was like a thing that was fully crossing my mind. I was like, wow, I hope Eric doesn't make the same like mistakes that I have made. And I remember, I have like a pretty vivid memory actually of like talking to my dad about that. Just like, yeah, like very excited for Eric in his, whatever stage in life he was like going through, and talking to my dad and being like, I hope he doesn't make the same mistake as me. And my dad's like, he's not. And that's how my dad is. He's like, he's not. What do you mean? I remember one time when I was super young, this is like a good way to explain how my dad is very different from my mom. It's like, I had been having like I don't know, it was maybe like 7 years old. I've been having like horrible nightmares for like, I don't know, a month or two or whatever. I was having like a lot of trouble sleeping. Like I needed like my mom to be like in the bed with me, like to be able to fall asleep. But I remember one night we were like driving home from somewhere and I was like talking to my dad about it. And I was like, what do you think I should like do? Like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Like I want to be able to sleep and I literally feel like I can't. And my dad's advice was like, well, just don't. Like, I was like, I don't want to be scared. And he was like, then don't. And I was like, and I literally in the moment I was like, wow, like true. but I don't think that was actually very good advice. It didn't
Yeah.
really help me a whole lot.
It doesn't sound very supportive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to shit on your dad, but like that,
Yeah.
how you're describing your mom is very different than how
Yes.
your dad
Yes.
reacts.
Yeah. My dad wasn't, I don't consider my dad to be not supportive at all. He's like he's just as supportive as my mom, but he wasn't raised with the same like he wasn't raised with the tools, like knowing, I guess, my grandparents. He wasn't raised with the tools to like give that like supportive advice, I would say.
Mm.
I don't think my mom was either, but I don't know. At the time in my dad's life, his style of being like supportive in that way was just very like different.
Yeah.
It wasn't not supportive, but it was just like that's what he thought the right thing to say was, which like it wasn't very good, but yeah, it's been cool to see like my dad like grow as a person throughout my life, because it's my mom is a super emotional person, and so she at times has been like very like, I don't know, giving my dad like feedback through in their relationship of like, I need you to be, better at empathizing with me when we have a problem in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like read books, and it's beautiful.
Wow.
It's like crazy. It
Sounds
makes
like a
me,
super healthy dynamic
yeah,
to
it
be
is.
modeled to you.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I only hope that I can like have that for myself one day, pretty much. So I admire like my dad a lot for being like a super open-minded person, because that's like all that he is, really, like,
Yeah.
so
What do you feel was like missing from your childhood? You could leave that pretty open-ended. Could be related to parental support or something like
Yeah.
growing up. Could not be.
I mean, I definitely don't feel like support was like when I think about my childhood, I honestly only feel like I was just like insanely lucky to have like the parents that I've had. I don't know. I would have to think about that for like a while to know like what was missing from my childhood, because I feel like I had like, I grew up in Boulder, like right next to the Flatirons. I had like places to play all the time, like skateboarding around the neighborhood with my friends. Like, yeah, I feel like I had everything. I had a younger brother who's like, I don't know, the distance between our ages is like really like cool to me, I guess. We're not like like the right distance for me to be like more of like a mentor, I guess. Sure. So yeah, I don't know. When I look back on my childhood, I feel like I had like everything. Like I don't really know what I would change. And that like I guess there's like some like the parts that I look at like negatively of my childhood is just like I guess at like school I was a super late bloomer, so I didn't grow till I was like a sophomore in high school. So I was always like I definitely got a little bit like bullied by my friends and like pushed around and like made fun of for like still having a high voice or being like 5'2" or whatever, and also like being really emotional. So those are like negative parts, but I wouldn't like take them away because
Sure.
Because they made me how I am.
I didn't really ever grow that much, so like I know how it feels to be bullied or looked down on, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah, and it makes you.
It's hard, dude.
Stronger for sure, but yeah, it's
so you had a falling out with your best friend, and then you go to high school, and it wasn't as that easy as well.
Yeah, I mean, me and that friend from like 6th grade, we continued to be friends. And I feel like we were able to like resolve like what I did as much as we like could. I mean, I'm not entirely sure because it's like when you're that young, you're kind of just like going through
Sure.
the motions. You're not like super conscious of like what's going on. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely still think about it now. I'm like, I wonder if we really did I wonder if he ever really did like forgive me for that. I'm not really sure. I wonder if I gave him the space to like really forgive me for that, like apologize. And
So you're not currently friends with him.
no. So
But if you're listening or watching,
yeah,
please
shout out that dude. I've
send a
seen
DM.
him. Yeah, send a DM. I've seen him around here and there, and seems like he's doing well. He's like also getting into like some EDM shows. Last I talked to him, he's like messing with some drum and bass. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, no, I definitely consider him like the homie. But yeah, like I would say we had like a real falling out like sophomore year, kind of because of what I was saying earlier. Like I felt like I was being like pushed around and stuff too much. And like it kind of just came to a point. I was like basically walking out of school, like talking to this girl that I had a crush on, like who ended up being like my high school like girlfriend of like 4 years. And he's like walking behind me and he's like kicking my feet and stuff while I'm like trying to talk to her. And I was like, it was literally just that. It was like that and probably a bunch of other things, but I was basically like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, sounds like he's trying to, sabotage or like he wasn't maybe fully over what had happened years
maybe
prior.
And yeah, I would consider that to be valid.
So you said when we were at coffee, you said that you started smoking weed really young.
Yeah, really young.
How young?
I mean, I think the first time I smoked weed was like 6th grade. But I don't even know if it like counts because it was like my friend had an older sister. Maybe she was in like 8th grade or like freshman in high school or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah, I got like weed and an apple. And maybe we like, oh, I'm so high, Like I'm sure I didn't actually, I can't imagine that I actually was like stoned for real.
You grew up in Boulder.
Yeah.
So there was like a hippie influence, or rather,
Yeah.
was there a hippie influence?
There was. I mean, mostly there wasn't like my family is not really. My family's not. I don't consider my family to be like very hippie-ish. Like they don't smoke. Neither of my parents like smoke weed. Maybe they have like once, like long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, friends in like middle school for sure had like this friend that I smoked weed with for the first time in like 6th grade, like lived in like Netherlands. Also like my best friend in middle school, his family was also very like that, I would say. So I was like around it and I loved it. It was fun. Yeah. I mean, all those
Loved
people
what?
I get. I guess being around like families that were not like mine, I guess. I mean, they're not like completely different like people, I guess, but definitely different like style, different like more spiritual people.
Yeah, probably different perspective.
Yeah, that's probably the best way for me to say it, is like more spiritual people, because my family was like not like religious or like spiritual at all,
And so
that was like cool
you
to
were
be
intrigued
around.
by that perspective, or just like
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I just thought it was like nice to be around like something different. And it interested me just to like get to know the parents, or like, I don't know. I guess we like smoked weed and that was like crazy.
with the parents?
No.
Oh.
No, we definitely were sneaking around doing that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess like tried weed once in 6th grade and then like maybe a little more 7th grade, here and there 8th grade, high school. I feel like beginning of high school is when I like smoked a lot of weed and I was pretty like into it. And then after that it just started to make me like kind of anxious and I stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When was that?
That was probably like junior year of high school.
So the first 3 years you're smoking a lot and then you stop.
Yeah.
Why were you smoking so much in the first 3 years?
My like close friends smoked a lot of weed
Mm.
and I would just like smoke weed with them. and it was like kind of fun, but I also feel like looking back, it was like very much like the social thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have been happy whether or not we were like smoking weed or not. Yeah. Like I just wanted to like hang out with my friends and like longboard around and like get candy at the grocery store and yeah. Yeah, and then I like greened out in like junior year.
Oh.
Like once, and I was like, fuck. It like sucked. Like in the bathroom for like 3 hours, like dry heaving.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was like, yeah.
And that was the end of that.
I guess that was kind of the end of that. Yeah. That was like,
Kept going.
yeah. I mean, now I like to smoke like here and there.
Yeah. And so at what point did music enter your life?
I mean, I would say like, I found my music taste like in like 6th grade when like the Skrillex stuff was dropping. As soon as I like heard like Scary Monsters and Ice Sprites, I was like, what the hell is this? And that's when I downloaded like SoundCloud, and I remember like one of the first things I listened to was like a Cruella mix or something,
Mm-hmm.
which definitely, it had a bunch of like stuff that was coming out on like NSD. I don't know. This was probably like 2013 or
What's
something.
NSD?
Never Say Die
Oh,
Records.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the stuff that was like coming out on that label, probably like super early Disciple stuff was all like in that mix. That's when I found like Barely Alive, like Virtual Riot, Diamond Eyes. That's like a crazy one if anybody knows the dubstep Diamond Eyes from Disciple back in the day. Yeah, and that was all like 6th or 7th grade
Yeah.
when I was like falling in love with it, I feel like.
What did falling in love with it look like? Did you have any idea of what it might move to?
Did I have any idea of like what it would
Like,
turn into?
yeah, sorry, that's what I was trying to ask.
Yeah, no, I got you. What I like really loved about it was like it was like kind of like my like own thing. Like there wasn't a lot of people in my like middle school or whatever that really were like fucking with dubstep like I also was. I guess I felt like a little bit of like an outsider in that regard or whatever.
Sure.
And like I would definitely have like a lot of experiences like in like art class or whatever where I'd be like listening to dubstep in my earpods and somebody would be like, what the hell are you listening to? Like robot noises. That was like that was happening to me all the time in like middle school and high school. So that definitely like made me feel like, yeah, like I'm one of the very few people that are like listening to this stuff. But yeah, I never considered like making music at all until I was like a junior or senior in high school. So I went like all that time just being like a huge fan, and I didn't really go to shows either. I just like consumed the music, like discovering new artists.
Yeah, how did that music make you feel?
It definitely made me feel like it was like an emotional outlet for sure. Like going through some stuff, like I definitely looked at some dubstep, I was like, this just sounds like sick and it's like high energy. And other dubstep is like more emotional, like that's what I loved about like Virtual Riot stuff. Like it's super melodic and it also has that like high energy mood to it. So yeah, I feel like it just like encapsulated like everything. Like I could listen to like dubstep as one genre, but it was like very diverse to me so that I could, listen to different artists or different types of songs based on like how I was feeling. But it's also always been a thing where it's like, I don't really know why I was attracted to this kind of music where there's like no lyrics. It's like all sub and just like, just like mid-range, like robotic noises and, super hard drums and like, yeah, I don't really know why that like clicked with my brain. I've always kind of thought it was like some like nature thing where it's like you either have it or you don't. Like you either like dubstep or it's just not for you,
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
I was always like, I grew up on melodic dubstep. Well, I shouldn't say that. Avicii was like the first artist I truly fell in love with. And then like I quickly moved into melodic dubstep.
Nice.
And I can relate to that feeling of, yeah, I don't know why I like this stuff, especially the stuff
Yeah.
with no lyrics. But it's like it just is.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time kind of thinking that way of like, I don't really know what it is. And people would definitely ask me like if they heard what it was like in my ear pods, they would be like, the hell are you listening to? Like, why do you like that stuff? And I guess not in like a mean way, but like, why do you like that stuff? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like the like crazy like high pitched like screeching noises.
Yeah.
You know?
It sounds like you found some sort of like solace in this music because you mentioned, you know, for the first couple years of high school, you felt like an outcast, and like this was something that you felt like was yours.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that it was like my own thing. And I had like definitely in the beginning, my friends also liked it too. Yeah, so we would like definitely go through like, you know, the Skrillex stuff together. Like, I wish I could remember some of the names of these super old songs, but my friends would like put me on to like other dubstep songs of like, oh, I found this one. It was like Sweet Shop or something. I think Dr. P was like one of the songs, you know, that my friend showed me. But after some time, I think I was like the only one that continued to like listen to it, you know? And I think that's like the case for like a lot of people. Like I feel like that's also how like Ellie is too. Like Ellie knows like the old stuff, and
That's 2% for those that don't know who we're referencing.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And so towards the end of high school, you're like, wait a second, I might actually want to start making this music.
Yeah, like towards the end of high school, dubstep had also like evolved a lot, so it sounded like a lot different. Like I feel like it was like early like Skrillex era, and I don't really know what was in between then. It was like early Skrillex era was like 2012, and then I feel like the era where I was like in high school, like kind of considering making music, was like bro step era, like 2016, 2017. And those sound very different from each other. So yeah, by that point I was like super into like Getter. Like I feel like Getter is like the reason that I started like making music basically.
Shout out
Getter. And yeah, that was partially because like he was doing these like vlogs and stuff with his friends, and that was like, looking back, I don't think I was conscious of it in the moment, but I feel like looking back, that was like a huge reason where I was like, I feel like I have a lot in common with these people. Like they're all like super silly, they're all like hilarious, and they like make dubstep for a living. Like that just sounds like the dream.
So you would describe yourself back then as super silly and hilarious?
I would just, yeah.
Okay.
At least I try to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've always been like a pretty like goofy person. I like to be silly, I guess. As one does.
Dude, I love to be a silly goose.
Yeah, as one does. I think everybody likes to be silly. But yeah, like, yeah, Getter is like a super funny person. Like, bro's like kind of a comedian, I feel like.
And how old were you at this time? Roughly?
If I was a junior, I was probably 17 or 18.
Got it.
Probably, yeah, 17, because I think I turned 18 senior year. So yeah, 17 or 18.
And you're like, I like these guys. I like this music.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make it.
Yeah. There wasn't like, I guess there was kind of like a good amount of like thought put into it, but I'm kind of surprised that the idea didn't like occur to me earlier to like make music when I was like a freshman in high school or something, because I had been listening to dubstep for so long, you know. But up to this point, I was like super into like drawing. I considered that to be like my best like talent or whatever. So when I was like, I think I want to start making music, I guess I'm the kind of person where I was like, if I'm gonna do that, I need to stop drawing completely and put all of my energy into music. Like, I guess taking myself a little too seriously and pretty intensely, but that's how I like thought about it.
Well, so you were intensely into drawing prior?
Yeah, I would say.
What did that look like?
Probably a vision to be an artist one day, I guess. I don't know how heavily I was like actually considering that, because that does seem like a far out thing, like making a living off of visual art nowadays. But yeah, like that's when I was like in middle school or early high school, like that's definitely what I wanted to do. There's like this artist, Rob is Real, who did a lot of like Getter's artworks and stuff, and I like hugely looked up to him. So yeah, it was like similar to the way that I've like pursued music, is like I was pursuing like drawing and stuff, and I had people that I looked up to that were making a living off of it. So
Yeah.
I guess I was like kind of looking at the path. I had won like awards in like middle school and high school for like I guess like art shows or whatever.
Wow.
So yeah, always been like super into art and stuff. And then I guess when I had the idea to like make music, I considered that like a transition
Sure.
of like, this is where I was going to start putting my artistic like energy. And I remember thinking like really intensely about like, I feel like I really have something to like say that's like unique and like add to like the dubstep genre. But you know, those are my thoughts before I even like had opened a DAW and actually understood how electronic music was made.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So yeah, you get like a little bit of like a culture shock once you actually realize like it's a lot of engineering and stuff. And the way that like meaning translates in visual art is like way different than how it translates in like a genre with no lyrics.
Yep.
You know?
Totally.
So there's that.
So what was it like? So you decide to start and intensely pursue it in the same way that you intensely pursue drawing, but there was culture shock.
Yeah. It's
what was
really,
it like to open the DAW for the first time and be like, what the?
It's just really hard. It is just really hard to, like, your music is just gonna suck the first 2 years. It's just gonna be horrible. Maybe not for some people. Some people are really fast, but my stuff was really bad. Like, I considered like the first 2 years. The first like year, I was having a really hard time even like really putting in the time, because it was like everything you make is bad, so it's not exactly fun to be like, oh, all right, let me sit down and make music, I guess. Especially when you want it to be good and you're like, I have these ideas, I have the passion for this music, then everything you put down just like sucks. Yeah, so that's
how
like,
do you deal with that? Or how did you deal with that?
I don't know, probably a bucket of coping mechanisms.
All right, let's hear them.
Yeah, like, you know, you rationalize basically and like kind of convince yourself that some stuff is actually good. But in hindsight, it's actually pretty bad. The other is like just accepting the process, like that it's gonna be just really hard and you're not gonna know what you're doing. Taking like healthy breaks so that you don't like burn yourself out of it and you're like, I'm just gonna quit. So yeah, giving yourself like the space, I guess. But there's definitely times when I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I just want to quit. Like, everybody has those. Yeah, like in high school.
Because we'll get to the ones in college and after.
Yeah, maybe like beginning of college, I felt that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like first year, probably when I was like a junior or senior, I was probably like sitting down, like making music on Ableton, like only a few times like a month. Like I felt like it was like very minimal. And like even figuring out like how stuff actually worked with like presets and stuff. Like understanding that you could download like preset sounds, and you know, getting sample packs from actual other places that would like, you know, because there's like bass loops and stuff. And like as a person that knows nothing about making music, you might think like, oh, this is just how it's like made. Like everybody just uses bass loops, because how are you going to know that like somebody else actually made the bass loops from scratch? So yeah, the like first year is like really slow. And then I feel like, yeah, second year I just started like pick up a little more. Like I started to get a little more comfortable. I started to like, yeah, I guess just get like by getting more comfortable, I would like force myself to like make music more. And there's always the really annoying thing of like the people in your friend group like know you make music. So they're like, oh, he's a DJ, like he makes music, like show him your music, dude. And I'm like, yo, it sucks right now. Like, can I get like 4 years maybe? Like,
Yeah, what kept you going back? Like while the music sucked and while it was hard?
I think I just wanted to be like an artist so bad. I think I just wanted to. I think I like could see the path, and I always believed that like if you put in the time, like you're gonna get there. So I guess I always just like had some hope, basically.
What about being an artist was attractive to you?
I think back then, what attracted me is different than what attracts me now. But I think I did really like the idea of like performing. Like the idea of like performing. I mean, obviously I still like the idea of performing, but back then, like thinking about like DJing and like playing my music to like thousands of people, like would like double my heart rate while I'm just like sitting down thinking about it, you know? It would get me like super excited and like, you know, like, I don't know, give me a bunch of like dopamine just like thinking about that. And being able
What
to...
about it, though?
I think the idea of, like, something that I've, like, made from nothing connecting with a bunch of people, that is, like, insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is, like, insane. And then also something that I've, like, made from scratch, connecting with, like, people, like, artists that I've, like, looked up to.
Yeah.
That is, like, insane. So, yeah, it, like, feels like something, like, bigger than yourself, I guess.
Sure. So you go to college.
Yeah.
And you start to produce more seriously.
Yeah, I was like So I dated this girl from like sophomore year to senior year. And
Of high school?
Yeah, of high school. Yeah. And we like had some like bumps in the road. We like broke up once or twice. But towards the end of like senior year, I was like really happy. And she was like trying to get into she was trying to get into like some really good schools that were like out of state. Like her dream school was like out of state and stuff. And it didn't end up working out, and we both were like, it ended up that we were both going to CU in Boulder, like where we currently went to high school. So we were going to the same school. I was like really happy in this relationship, and like towards the end of senior year, just like kind of on a random day to me, like she sat me down in the car and she was like, I want to like kind of start fresh for college, and I think we should break up. So I was like, damn, well, I don't feel that way, but you know, I respect your decision, whatever. I think I also kind of shut down, because I was like, yeah, I just didn't really know what I was like gonna say. I was like, okay, well, if you feel that way, like, I don't know. I'm not really gonna like beg you to change your mind. Like, I respect the decision.
Sounds gutting though.
It sucked. It was like, I mean, it was like my first like real breakup. It was like somebody I'd been with for like years. So yeah, it was rough. Like that summer, I just remember the summer like sucking.
Going into college.
Yeah, summer going into college like sucking. And I think I did like transfer some of that like energy into music.
How so?
I guess just like the frustration of being broken up with, and like the hurt, like turning that into like motivation somehow to like pick myself up and not feel sorry for myself and like fucking grind and learn music. Yeah, then freshman year of college starts. We get back together. Because I think freshman year of college for the beginning can be really rough because you're meeting a lot of new people, trying to find your group. Some people don't find their group. You have like a roommate in a dorm that you like barely know. I don't know. a lot of change that you're not used to in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she and I just like fell back into each other because of that. But yeah, like after the beginning of freshman year, I would say I started to like kind of get like a new friend group. But I didn't really feel like I felt like I was having a pretty hard time like figuring it out. Like, I had made some new friends, but nobody that I really like clicked with. So I felt like pretty alone, and I feel like she kind of figured out like a new friend group. She was like going out a lot. So I had a lot of time inside the dorm by myself, just like on a Friday night. Like, I can't go to the frats cuz I'm a dude. Saturday, same deal, you know. So I just remember a lot of Friday and Saturday nights like in the dorm, sad vibes, but just like cranking on Ableton because
Yeah, it
I
sounds
was, like,
super lonely.
it was. Yeah, it was. And we broke up in like spring or something. I feel like pretty much like because of that. That's when I started to like pick up on Ableton more, and I don't know, I was just putting in work every day, I feel like. And like staying up till like 5 a.m. Just making it was still pretty bad, but yeah.
That sounds really formative. I mean, you mentioned the word formative, but now you're grinding so intensely, which came, correct me if I'm wrong, but out of a place of like deep loneliness or sadness or both.
Yeah. Like the person that I loved, I feel like paying less attention to me because they're like growing, and found a new like friend group and stuff, and that was good for her, and I'm very glad that like happened. But it just meant that I don't think we should keep dating at that point. It gave me a lot of time to make music.
And at that point, you were like so intent on being like an artist. And
I was like, end of college, I'm gonna be popping off. Like, I'm gonna end of college, I'm gonna be like making a living off of this. I'm gonna be like playing shows. Yeah, and that was like the plan. And I was still studying like, I was a art major the first semester, so I was actually still doing like drawing stuff.
Okay.
Because I was just like, I don't know, I'm in college. I feel like I just have to choose like what I love, and I hope that it works out. Not necessarily thinking about like what degree is like actually going to get me a job when I graduate.
Yeah.
That was not like the mindset at all. Which I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah, if I could give myself some advice from, if I could talk to myself now, I'd be like, you should study comp sci, probably, like, not communications.
Well, but that's really interesting though, because you were doing what you loved. You weren't really focused on like how to make money.
Yeah.
Some might say you weren't focused on the practicality of that. But, you know, the theme that you want people to take away is like to pursue their passion. And so that contradicts.
now I'm saying like don't pursue your passion. Yeah, I think you should pursue your passion while also still like being like find a balance between like pursuing your passion and like being realistic, because you gotta survive. Like, you gotta pay rent.
Yeah, totally.
As long as you can like pay rent, like, send it.
But that's a good segue though, because you grind through college, and doesn't sound like it happened.
It did not.
So what happens then when you're studying art? Your dream to, you know, make it in music hasn't quite panned out yet.
Towards the end of college, I probably when I was like beginning junior year, I was like, all right, I don't think I'm going to be touring by the end of college. So I started to definitely get like more realistic towards the end.
Which must have been hard though.
Yeah. The the dream was dying.
Right. Like, what did that feel like?
Yeah. I don't remember like super well how like sad I was, but it was definitely like a little bit of like a crushing like reality check. Like, I was definitely like bummed, while also just being like proactive of like, this is what it is. And I guess, you know, I still like rationalize of like, okay, it's not going to happen now, but like now the plan is I'm just going to like get a job like you know, like a steady job, ideally with like a salary, and I can get some healthcare and start saving for retirement, and I like all that stuff. And I'll just come home from work and like do music, and you know, if as long as I'd like never stop making music, like eventually it's gonna turn into my career. That was basically my
Yeah,
mindset.
where did you develop that mindset?
Probably like advice from my parents and stuff, obviously. Like,
Oh, so they were telling you this.
yeah, I don't know if they were like directly telling me that, but I would definitely like talk to them about like my life and what I was going through and like what I was like thinking career wise. So yeah, I'm sure that was like some of their advice, or they would just like listen to me, and I guess talking about that stuff, you know, I come to the conclusion myself or whatever. Like the fire of the dream was like burning out a little bit, but also I was kind of like readjusting the path.
Sure.
But I was also studying like media. My emphasis was like media production and communication. So I was taking a bunch of classes that would more so relate to like, maybe working on like a set like we have here with like cameras and stuff, and like filming like an ad or a podcast or something like that. That was like what the internships for my like major was. I was working in like some like audio classes, so it was like somewhat adjacent to like music in that way, like audio engineering. But yeah, I wasn't really sure like what job I was gonna try and get with that. And then like halfway through college, I picked up a minor, which they changed the name of the minor like 15 times, but it was like creative technology and design, technology, arts and media. I basically was taking like coding classes. Yeah. And then I started getting into software design probably like senior year. That was like what I wanted to do. And that was like influenced by my like love for like probably like music production software. I was like, all of these like plugins and stuff look like super sick, so I want to like design stuff like that. So I kind of started like going down that path a little bit. Like I want to do software design. And that's what I like had a job out of college doing. I had like a 6-month like internship doing software design. And
coming home and grinding and still chasing the dream? Or did the dream burn out at that point?
I didn't really know what was like happening with the dream at that time, because I think I was so overwhelmed with like trying to find like a job and stuff. I was still making music all the time. Like at least a few times a week I was like coming home and making music. I still had like my project that I was like passionate about. And yeah, if any like there's some people out there that still know my old project used to be called Outrage. Yeah. Yeah. I rebranded that like a year and a half ago or something. So Outrage is like the project name that I started in high school.
Yeah, so I mean, Outrage and even Fraxure are like heavier names. And you know, it sounds like you started creating music like in a really heavy period in your life with loneliness and breakup. Do you think like those feelings influenced the heaviness of the music that you made?
For sure.
Or were making?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't know if I ever like consciously thought about it, but I guess like that kind of music I feel like really gets like your blood flowing, gets the energy out, gets you like sweating. And I feel like that is like a therapeutic experience of like, I don't know, either just being in the moment and feeling and like forgetting about your problems for a brief minute, or just getting out like your literal feelings in like a physical way. So yeah, I definitely feel like that like angrier style of music that I've like always been into, yeah, like reflects that. But it doesn't matter like a whole lot like what stage of my life I'm in. I feel like I'm just like attracted to that kind of music, you know.
Totally.
Yeah,
I think so too. Like I like the heaviest stuff possible, and
yeah,
I don't know. I think I'm a pretty sensitive person too.
Yeah.
And so I think that just has to do with part of processing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dream is still, well, you're still making music.
I'm still making music.
There's a question on
I'm not
whether,
sure what's happening with the dream.
With the dream.
Yeah.
And now you're working.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like, you're obviously not working anymore. You're pursuing the dream.
Yeah.
So like what transpires after graduation where things start to turn?
Yeah, I had like a few jobs. I was like going with the software design thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had that internship for 6 months. Then I picked up like another software design internship right after that. That one I liked way less just because it was like the people that I worked with. I didn't enjoy working with them as much. And I was like, damn, I can't get like a full-time job. Like I keep getting these damn internships that don't offer like a full-time role at the end. So I like went to a quick little like design school like boot camp, which would basically have you just do like a few of your own like research projects for like user experience design and like beef up your portfolio and stuff. So I was like, yeah, let me do this for like it was like 3 to like 6 months or something. I'll do that, beef up my portfolio. It'll be a lot easier to get a job. So I mean I did that and didn't really help. Pretty much just did that and had like a fire portfolio, but was like applying to like 50 jobs a day for like 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And like doing like interviews like all the time, like 4-round interviews. I was like in this final interview for this like awesome company. Like super sick company. Like everybody that works there is like insanely talented. And I was in like the final interview and I was like about to move to New York. I was like, this is it. Like their office is like on like the bottom of Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I didn't get it. Crushing. It happens all the time, or it did happen all the time with like getting to like final interviews and stuff.
Yeah, what's going through your head? Because like, you're 50 jobs a day, interviewing constantly. Here you are thinking you're gonna get this final round, feeling good.
Yeah.
And you just use the words crushing.
Yeah. You kind of just feel like, hopeless. You're like, I don't know if I'm ever, like, you want to just give up on like the job hunt. You want to give up on like the career path that you're like pursuing. You felt like the school that you just went to that you paid like 10 grand to go to was like pointless. You know, so maybe a few days of feeling that way and then pick yourself back up and start applying to jobs again. Yeah, that was kind of like my process, I would say. And I had like a very like healthy way of just like everything that I just said, like talking about all that stuff with my family or whatever. And
that's how you processed.
Yeah, just having that like support system was like everything. Like I'm like just insanely like thankful for that. So yeah, I mean, at some point during that time, I moved to. I was like living at my parents for like 3 months. In between like finishing that like design school, and then moving to Denver in beginning of 2024. I just kind of was like, need to get out of the house. I don't have like a job yet, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get a job very soon. And that whole time that I was like applying to jobs, I was making like sample packs for like companies on the side. So that was like just getting me like a bunch of money like saved up. So I had like some cushion to like live in Denver for a little bit. Moved to Denver like beginning of 2024. Cushion. I was trying to get a job still for like 2 months, whatever. I started looking for like any job at that point, because I was like, this cushion of savings that I have is gonna run out. So I was like,
wait, can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
Because you said 2024. I didn't realize we had moved that far into the future. I didn't realize the timeline of all things.
Yes.
Because like there was traction happening in 2022 and 2023, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this traction was happening as you were. When did you graduate college?
22.
Okay. So you graduate college, you're doing a bunch of internships, and you're getting some traction on the career at the same time. Is that correct?
Traction on like my music career? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so making samples packs at this time as well?
Yeah, I was probably making sample packs, yeah, like 2022 to 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing internships, you're making sample packs. That's how you're being supported mostly, like
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah.
And
And
at the
like living
same
at my parents for a little bit too. Yeah.
okay. And at the same time, like grinding, trying to make the career thing,
Mm-hmm.
like the, normal corporate career thing.
Yes.
And still creating music on the side.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to
Yeah.
like level set
No,
with that
yeah,
before we
yeah.
just jump into
Yeah, I
2024.
kind of was like skipping ahead a little bit. But yes. Yeah, you got it all. You got it all right.
Okay. So 2024, big year.
Yeah.
Probably biggest year of your career
Biggest
so
year for
far, no?
sure. Yeah. Yeah, cuz like the traction before, like, just to go over a little bit of like the traction, I guess, from like 2022.
Yeah, let's start at
to, like,
22 with Lost Lands.
2022, I believe Spaghetti played out my like Must Die remix or something. So there was like sick things happening like that.
Yeah.
Like that was like insanely exciting. It was just like, yeah, it was just like crazy. It was it was just like, okay, the music, that was probably the point where I was like, the music I'm making is like finally like, it's like playable, and I was finally starting to pump out like production wise and like writing wise like good songs.
Mm.
I was like, this is cool. Yeah. And that's when I feel like my production probably started to get really good, was like 2022-ish.
And that's just because you'd spent so much time grinding?
That was just because I spent a lot of time. I also met Deviate in I guess like backtrack to 2021. I started like talking to Deviate, who's like Australian producer, makes like just insane music, like pretty diverse, I would say. But like, yeah, on the heavier side. He and I had actually talked to each other on a Discord in like 2019, which was like a year after I started making music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we started making music at the same time. So we had like chatted before from some like random Discord. And then 2021, Disciple had like a remix competition. And I was like, yo, you want to do one together? Sent him like a project or whatever. And then we just like threw it back and forth. I mean, I think on like Splice, which is like what we were using to send the project back and forth to each other, it tracks how many versions, how many times you've sent it back and forth, and it was like 100 something.
Wow.
Which is like,
yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that since then.
Yeah.
Like we were really like spamming. But yeah, we were like making that remix together. My production was like pretty good at this point, but I feel like doing this like song with him, he's just a crazy producer. He's just like probably like the best producer that I like know, or like, he's up there. He's absolutely insane. So being able to like collaborate with him, open up the project file, see like some of his processes, it was teaching me a lot. Like, first time I like messed with like a mid-side EQ, I was like, what is going on? So I learned a lot from doing that collab. The remix competition ended. We didn't even finish like the song in time. And so we were like, okay, we'll turn it into original, because it was like a pretty sick tune at that point. So we turned it into original. Disciple hit him up. He sent him our collab. They took it, and it was like, it was like it was like the dopest thing that had probably happened to me at that point for music, because Disciple, as like I mentioned earlier, I've been listening to them since I was in like 6th grade.
Yeah, you must have felt like you made it at that point.
I pretty much was like, yo, I made it. I had like one friend in college.
This is in 2021?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're trying to get like a corporate career figured out.
Yeah, I pretty much, I don't know. I just continued doing music on the side from there. And I was like, we had this one song come out on the compilation for Disciple. Like, I'm going to start working on an EP because I want to send this EP to them. I want to have an EP on Disciple in the next few months. And I was like working at that EP for a long time. I had like connections that could like send it through and stuff. But yeah, it just didn't end up happening. And I feel like in hindsight, I guess I can like kind of understand why it didn't happen, but I also feel like the tunes I was like sending them was like up to par. So it was kind of like a bummer that stuff wasn't like working out. And I was like, I don't know if I would like consider it, or if you would consider this me being like hard on myself, but I definitely took the mindset of like, if I'm not getting like the results that I'm wanting, it's just because like the production or slash like the music isn't good enough. And not to say like my music was like bad. I didn't like spend a lot of time like feeling sorry for myself, but I just used it as motivation to like keep pushing on the production.
Sure.
Just like make it more insane, better in every way, whatever. So I don't know. That's maybe a little bit of like a brutalist mindset, or like,
Why
I'm
do you think
pretty,
it's
like,
brutalist?
because it's just like, I don't know, being a dick to yourself. It's just like, if you're not getting the results you want, like, you're not good enough. Which is like, you know, it's like 50-50, because it's like, I think that advice like helped make me who I am today and like make me really good at producing. But it's also like a hard pill to swallow. So yeah, I don't know. You just have to be nice to yourself, you know, like have a healthy medium of like talking shit to yourself to like make yourself better and improve. But
We'll get to the therapy.
yeah.
I'm sure this is one of the learnings that came out in therapy.
Yeah, maybe so. So yeah, I was working on that EP for a while, but it never even ended up going anywhere. I don't even think I like released the songs on it, because I was just like kind of refining it for such a long time, hoping that it would get picked up, and then I just ended up starting like new projects after that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I was like a little bit insecure about the songs. I was like, if they're not getting picked up by Disciple, like with the vision that I had and the way that I wanted, like, I don't know if I should like stick with these. And I would start new songs and I'd be like, I think these are better. So I also had like a hard drive wipe happen in like 2021, where I accidentally deleted like my whole project folder, or like my folder that had all my projects. That's like a horrible thing that happens. I've had it happen to like a bunch of homies, but it also can be like really good, because all of a sudden you just have like completely like clean slate. And then everything you make from that point is going to be as good as you are at making music like right in that moment. You know, you won't be working on like projects that you started 6 months ago when maybe you weren't as good. So I don't know.
Totally. So you mentioned that you felt like you had made it.
Yeah.
And then comes back the reality of like, well, maybe not quite yet, because you're still grinding, still not where you want to be at the time. How do you reconcile with that? Right, it sounds like a super high and then like almost like a low. It's like, oh, actually, no, I'm kind of still where I'm at.
I don't know. I think it just probably like bums me out for a second, and then I'm like, well, keep pushing. It is what it is. It's like a little bit of a learning experience of like, okay, this is like how music is. Like it very much is about like the longevity of things. You know, you can't like release one song on Disciple and be like, all right, now give me like 30 tour stops, like you know. So
when did the real like traction come, where you really started to feel like, okay, this is happening for real?
Yeah, probably that 2024 year, when I was like, moved to Denver, running out of money, started applying to like every job on LinkedIn, like sales jobs. I got a job in sales in like April, doing trucking logistics. It was a sales job though. So it's like I was working for a broker in sales that would book trucks for his customers that are shipping product. And I was one of the people like working for him that would like call truck drivers and be like, yo, I got a load 48,000 pounds going to like Wyoming.
Why did you just put on a Southern accent?
Because that's literally, if you talk to a Southern accent to these truck drivers, like they will fuck with you more.
Epic.
Yeah, because it sounds like, I mean, I would not do that on every phone call, but sometimes like me and the homies in the office, we would be like, yo, like let's do that. Let's do the accent.
Unreal.
But yeah, during that time that I was working the sales job, I like really I had like a EP, or like a handful of tracks that I pretty much started from the time I was like living at my parents till like I guess when I moved to Denver and like in working in the sales job.
Mm-hmm.
I had like a handful of like these tracks that I was like very happy with, and it was like the Head Splitter EP. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this EP. It's like 5 songs, and I'm gonna like release one song every 2 weeks, and do like 5 videos a week. Yeah, so basically 10 videos for each song, because I would like do 5 videos every week, promoting whichever song. So I was like just posting a lot of content while working at this sales job, and I had like a sweet routine. It was like basically work all week at this awesome trucking logistics sales job, come home, make music, go to bed at 8 p.m., do that again every day. And then on Sundays when I like never had work, I would make 5 videos basically. I would make like 5 content videos, like promoting the song, whatever. So yeah, that's when like traction really started to happen. I had like my first manager, shout out Joey.
Shout out. Yeah,
the project was just like going really well. Like Joey was helping me like get shows in Denver and stuff. It was like my first like few shows. Like I think my first show maybe was like 2023 or something. But like 2024 was like, yeah, I pretty much consider it to be like my first like real few shows and stuff.
What was it like to taste the dream?
I remember, this is so funny, but not even like the first show I played, but Tay Gorilla T. This is when I met him in 2022. I met him just through like a college friend, and he put me in this like Snapchat group chat with a bunch of these like people I didn't know. They were like, we're throwing a garage rave, and this is when I was like still living in Boulder, throwing a garage rave, and Tay was like, you should open for me. And I was like, bet. And I like never DJ'd before or anything. I had a mixer that I got like 2 years before, but it was literally like, it was a Serato mixer. It wasn't like record box. So it was like, I don't know. It was just the wrong mixer. I was basically practicing on something that was not the right thing. Yeah, I like showed up to this garage rave, was like met Tate for the first time.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Yeah, that was like, I remember like very vividly I don't very vividly like remember meeting a lot of people, or I'm like pretty shy, so I don't like go up to people and be like, yo. But for whatever reason with like Tate, I just remember walking up to him and being like, Gorilla T. And I mean, this was 2022. This is when like bro had like 200 followers on SoundCloud. Like I was bigger than him. I had like 3,000 followers on SoundCloud. So yeah, I just feel like I like remember like that as a very fun day. Like it was yesterday, and I like opened for him in this garage rave. It was like literally just in a garage in a neighborhood. But they brought like lasers and like smoke, whatever, cannons, or not cannons, but yeah, it was sick. And it was like packed. I don't know, just like they invited a lot of people, I guess. And I remember for whatever reason, that is like the first experience of like, wow, like that was like I played like my music for people. And I just felt like fucking sick. Like I remember like walking outside of the garage and like just like taking it in for a second. Like you know, compare that to like, I don't know, the shows I was playing in Denver. I was just a lot more like used to it at that point.
Sure.
Like playing like church, and you know, it's like a packed room of like almost 1,000 people. It's like, I still consider the feeling that I had after that garage rave to be like a little more euphoric than that, because it was just the first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was just the first time.
And so when you're in Denver playing that first show,
yeah,
it felt similar, but not the same. A little less.
Yeah. I guess it's like, it's a little bit like a drug or something. Like the first time was always just crazy. Like it's a lot more like vivid in my mind of me like walking out and like taking it in.
Yeah.
Like, I know I just played a garage rave, but that was like amazing.
Sure. So 2024, big year for you.
yeah, content
Content
all
pops
the
off.
time.
Music's starting to get some traction. You're
Yeah,
playing shows
yeah.
and still working at the logistics company.
Still working in sales. Yeah, grinding the sales. Yeah, it was probably like end of. I was also still looking for a product design job while I was in the logistics job because I didn't put so many eggs in that basket, invested so much into that like career path that I was like still trying to make that happen. And then towards the end of the sales job, I got like hired or started working with like another sample pack company I hadn't worked with before. And it was like going to be enough to like get me out of the job. And I was at a point where in the sales job, if you didn't have your own like customers by that point, you're getting fired. So I was on my way out. So yeah, I quit in like August.
And went all in.
And went all in.
Yeah. Walk us through that process.
I don't remember if I was like fully like, this is it, I'm sending it. But I remember being like, I can't work at this sales job anymore. So I'm gonna like work for this sample pack company, and I don't really know what's gonna happen now. I kind of was like, yeah, I guess I'm doing like music full time for a second. That was the same time that I joined a new management company. That's when I met like Ellie and stuff. And as soon as I like joined that management, they like put me on the tour with Amorphic that Ellie was also on. So I got those shows. I was working for a sample pack company. That all moved like so fast. Like just getting taken up on that tour was like, I was on like 10 or 15 stops or something. Like my first time like traveling a lot, like playing out of state shows. I think it was the first time I was ever playing out of state shows. So yeah, it was like a lot at once. I started to just like, I was still like doing content, and I was definitely feeling like the pressure. Like it was like pretty scary to just be like, okay, now I'm not doing like anything else other than music. And like the pressure of being like with a management company that had like Gorilla Tea and Amorphic on it. The pressure to like Tate started with this management company in 2022 when he was pretty small. He had like some good traction going, but he like blew up, you know? So the pressure to like make that same thing happen, like I know Ellie was feeling that. I know I was feeling that. I know like shout out the Dream Takers, SJ, like there was, yeah, we were all like kind of feeling that, I feel like. So yeah, just like crushing out music, or doing my best to like crush out music with the pressure. I feel like the pressure was definitely affecting how I was.
Where's the pressure coming from?
The pressure is coming from like myself, and also like my managers. Like they want to make the project the best that it can be, you know? So they're pushing for that. And I'm already like putting a little bit of pressure on myself because I'm like, I need to make a living off of this. Yeah. Like right now. Yeah. So yeah, it was coming from like a lot of different places.
And did that pressure serve you?
No. No, I think I had a hard time adjusting to it. I don't think I do well under pressure like that. I think I can do well under pressure in certain situations, but like the reason that I started making music is like the opposite of that. Is like to escape like any kind of pressure, like to be doing, like I'm only doing it like for myself, I guess. Sure. You know, like it's full like passion project. So having like outside pressure, it makes me want to like, it sours my like relationship with like my artist project and like music and stuff.
So then why was 2024 the best year of your life?
I don't know if it was like the best year of my life.
You said that.
When?
In a post.
Well, some time has passed. But yeah, at the moment.
Sorry. Yeah. Not in this episode. At the moment, you were reflecting back on 2024. It might have been like beginning of 2025. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Let me pull this open.
No, there's definitely a post in 2024 or like end of 2024 where I was like,
that's what I'm referencing.
Yeah. But maybe
at the time,
maybe 2025 was the best year. I don't know.
Okay, but at the time,
yes.
So,
at the time,
yes,
at the time for sure, it was the best year of my life. I would say the end section when I started to go on tour and feel that pressure, that was like started to go like downhill a little bit, and that's why like 2025 was like a little bit. The beginning of 2025 was a little like rockier, but yeah, everything before that in 2024 was like amazing because I was like just struggling to get a job. I like started to run out of money when I was living in Denver. And then I like turned it all around and like made it out of the sales job. You know, I got a collab with like Nitty and Micah Martin, and we filmed like this music video, and everything was just like sick.
But then 2025 comes.
Yeah.
And it's rocky.
Beginning of 2025, I would say was like rocky-ish.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Can I read you something?
Is it me saying 2025 is the best year of my life?
No. It explains some of the rockiness, and it might be slightly paraphrased.
Yeah.
I felt like I was lying to myself, telling myself I'd make music work by any means necessary. But I ended up compromising who I was and what I'm passionate about. I started to feel like music was no longer fun and everything was about numbers, business, or content.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of like alluding to like, I guess like the pressure I was feeling. I was definitely in the mindset of like catering, starting to like switch my style, my like sound towards what I thought would be like received better, what was like more popular.
As opposed to what you wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of just felt like I was like, let me try out this like other style that I know is like more popular right now.
It's funny. Ellie said the exact same thing.
I know. Yeah.
And you guys were in a very similar situation.
Yeah. Me and Ellie, we went through like.
So what happened?
That shit together.
So you feel pressure to grow and make and change your sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you decide to stick with your own sound?
Pretty much when I left the management company. Once I did that, I was like, I had a lot more like side hustles going. I was like less financially stressed. 2020, beginning of 2025, I was also insanely like financially stressed. Like I was like, I got $500 in my bank account. What are we gonna do?
I love the accents. This is great.
Yeah. So yeah, like once I left the management company, probably in like June or July, I was like, okay, take a step back. Like, why did I get into music in the beginning? What have I always like been passionate about specifically with music? I don't know. That was just like sound design and like crazy production. And that's what like I feel like inspired me to like make an album. That was like the decision I made like right when I left that management of like, I'm gonna make an album. I'm gonna take like a real shot at actually doing something that is like insanely like meaningful to me. I want the album to like have something to say about like what I think it means to be like human. And also I want it to like try and like push the boundaries of sound design in a way that's like cool but still like danceable and not like insanely far out there. Because I want people to still dance to my music. I don't want it to just be like insanely producer music. Sometimes though.
I mean, that sounds profound. It's like, Thanks. It sounds like a massive shift in perspective. Yeah. And it also sounds like the first time you truly bet on yourself.
Yeah. And it kind of was. I was like really inspired by, I was watching this show called Andor, which is like literally a Star Wars show. But it's like a beautiful thing because I don't know, Star Wars is sick. I'm not like a massive Star Wars person, but it's like a giant like franchise, you know. And Andor is like this little gem that's like, you know, it doesn't even like feel like Star Wars. It feels like a commentary on like World War II and like fascism, and like it has like beautiful writing. And it's written by It's written and directed, I think, by like Tony Gilroy, who did like the Bourne Legacy and stuff. I don't know. I was just watching like interviews with him and him talking about like the show that he made, and the way that he talked about the thing that he made, that being the show. I was like, I want to be able to talk about like a project of mine like that, and like feel like I'm like leaving something like behind, hopefully. Like that is, I think, the thing that I'm going to be chasing for like hopefully the rest of my life is like, honestly, just like, can I leave something behind when I die? Like that would be sick, you know.
Why would that be sick?
You know, it's like it's like being alive from like beyond the grave. Like it almost feels like you're like God. Like the way that like so many artists' music, you know, that aren't like alive anymore today, like we listen to, you know, like I think that is like so cool. So yeah, to like be among like one of those people would be like, that's like a life goal, I feel like. Yeah, and like Stellan Skarsgård is also in the show, and he has a lot of like he's left behind like such an insane like career in movies and stuff. So I was watching like some interviews of him talking about that stuff, and it's just like insanely inspiring. And I had this day where I was just like, I just felt like so like emotionally overwhelmed, and I think I was like processing like kind of what I had gone through over the last like almost a year, of just like, yeah, feeling like my passion was like no longer my passion. It became like more of a business like thing, like I was saying in that post, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember like crying in like the arms of my girlfriend because I was like sad that I kind of like felt like I like lost myself, but I was also like so overwhelmed with like inspiration and like purpose. It was like really like a weird cocktail of emotions. And I just like, that was in like June or July last year. So I just remember that day like very vividly. And I think about that day a lot when I'm making the album. So, yeah.
Why do you think about that day? Why does it come up?
Because I feel like it was like a day of like realization. And I like think about that day because it's like what I use as like motivation, like make the album and stuff. So what I use is like the inspiration and like the purpose. Because I don't feel like that every day. Some days I'm like, you know, I just want to chill. I don't know if I want to like make this album right now but then I think about like how emotional I was, and I get back in the mindset of like how I was feeling that day, and it like, you know.
Yeah, what does that feel like in your body?
Like when I was feeling super emotional that day?
Yeah, and then also like when you recall that as you're making the album, like what happens?
I guess I would like describe it as, it wasn't like comfortable. Like when I was like feeling like upset like that, it was like very uncomfortable, and I didn't really like how it felt. Especially because I like talking to my girlfriend about how I was feeling. It was really hard for me to like explain it. Like I was like, I don't even feel like I can really get her to like understand what I like mean. And that is like frustrating to me a lot of the time when I can't do that. And I'm definitely a believer in like the English language not being like ideal for sometimes explaining things like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I've also always been like pretty bad at like feeling things in my body, like going to therapy and stuff. I've talked about that a lot in like really emotional moments. Talking to my therapist, she will ask me like, how does that feel in like your hands? Like, where do you feel that emotion? Like in your chest, is your chest tight? Do you feel like your hands, like, you know, if you're like mad, do you feel your fists closing? And I've like had like massive trouble just being like, yeah, I don't really know. Like I feel like everything's just in my brain. So that's been like an interesting journey to try and like figure out, but I can't say I've cracked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the answer could be like, I don't know, and that's cool too. I was just curious if you were aware of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a super motivating and inspirational kind of energy you can channel.
It's pretty much a long-winded answer of I'm not sure.
That's okay.
But it's also like you're so overwhelmed emotionally in the moment, it's hard to like take a step back and be like, where am I feeling this in my
Yeah.
physical body, you know?
So how do we get to today then?
I left that management company, started the album like June or July. The album's been taking up like an insane amount of my time, like trying to carefully start ideas and carefully choose what ideas I think will fit with it, while also still like producing like singles on the side and like collabs and stuff. I had Lost Lands in September of last year. That was like a crazy story because I went, but I wasn't supposed to play. That was also one of those moments, like when I got that song on Disciple or whatever. When I was in my hotel room, like I was in my hotel room, like working on like a Stone Level collab because I was gonna go up on stage and play it with him, and then everybody started like blowing up my phone, and then Excision's manager called me and she was like, "Yo, these people can't make it to their set today. Do you want to play like 4 p.m. Subsidia?" And I was just like, is this a joke? Like, are you serious? Yeah, I was like nearly speechless. I was like definitely like stuttering on the phone, just like, yeah, that was like that was an insane day because I went from like working on a collab to play on stage to like, oh, like, do I have my USB? Put the set on a USB. Like I pretty much had a set. I forget what show I had played like recently before that, but I had like a set to play and stuff. And I had all these like album songs that I was like, I cannot wait to play these. Yeah, that was just an insane day. I just like could not believe like what was happening. You like, I imagine usually like if you're playing Lost Lands, like you obviously you know like months and months before. Like knowing me, I'd probably be like nervous to play Lost Lands like a month before I would play it. So finding out the day of was like insanely nerve wracking and just like hectic, but also just like amazing and like euphoric. And yeah, it was just like, it was like, yeah, it was one of the best days of my life for sure. I just felt like insanely lucky, and yeah, like to have like all my friends there too, and like Ellie was playing Lost Lands. Like I was like a little bit, I wasn't feeling like great that year because like a lot of my like super close friends were like playing Lost Lands, and I was like hoping that I would get to like be there doing that with them. And I wasn't, but I still went and stuff because obviously I want to see them. So it's a little like cognitive dissonance because it's like I feel bad for myself a little bit that I like wasn't on the lineup, but I'm also like so happy for all my friends. So to be able to like get to play and like have that was like a dream come true. And then I had like some shows with like Hostage Situation. Those are like very good friends of mine. That was like later in the year, and yeah, I've just been over like all of 2025 is like when I started like my Patreon and stuff. I do like music lessons. That's like a huge like support in my career. Yeah, I make like sample packs and stuff. I make like ads for other companies for their plugins and stuff. Very much have become like half producer, half artist, which I think is like kind of a cool, like unique thing about my projects. I think a lot of people look at me as like, a lot of people know me for my like production. I have like a lot of producer fans, and the last management that I was with, they didn't like that. They were like, producers don't buy tickets. Like they were like, you don't want producer fans. Like you need to cater your content to not be for producers. Like don't do a caption that only a producer's gonna understand. Like make sure like the ravers get it.
I mean, that's just not true. Yeah. I had AU5 on the podcast.
Yeah.
Last episode, which hasn't aired yet.
AU5 goated.
Like, talk about technical.
Right.
And he's done pretty well for himself in his career.
He has. Yeah. He like is, yeah, I look up to him hugely. You know, people like that. So yeah, I like very much embrace that as like a part of my project now. I love being able to like make stuff that other producers are going to use. I just found out like a few days ago that like Subtronic's Tape B and Zed's Dead used me and Shadow Augie used our like drums in their song.
I saw that Instagram story.
Yeah. I was like, and I mean, basically Augie, whose name is Ollie, he texted me and he was like, I can hear it. Like, these are our drums. And I was like, really? I listened to the song and I knew like immediately. But just to like check it, I like put it in like Ableton and like zoom into like the transients, basically zoom into the kick and snare, and then like put ours next to it, and it's like a puzzle piece, like lines up like perfectly. So it was like I did have to like just make sure and confirm it so that I can actually say what I'm like saying right now. But yeah, like stuff like that happens and it's like insanely sick. So I like love that part of my career right now. Lessons, making sample packs, doing like being able to like test out software for other companies and like make videos out of it.
Yeah, you have like a very well-rounded kind of source. I don't even say source of income, but like you have a variety of different things. You have your hands in many different buckets.
Yeah.
And it's really cool that you're able to support yourself in this way when you're not just one thing. You're not just a touring artist who's known for this specific thing.
Yeah. It's been like a long time coming because I had that time in my life, you know, where I was like, had like $500 in my bank account. And now I'm like, you know, like.
Now you have $600.
Now I have $600 in my bank account. We're going to the casino. No. Yeah. Now I'm definitely like in a better spot.
Sure. So how do you see kind of both your career developing and the personal side of you? If we could do both at once, potentially. Start with your career, though, because it's not just cut and dry like everyone else, right? Like you have your hands in all these buckets.
Yeah. You mean like where do I see it like going? Or
yeah,
like,
where do you see your career going? Like, do you always see yourself, you know, being a part of producers? Do you always see yourself working and selling sample packs? Do you see yourself doing ads?
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I like feel like I have like a concrete answer of like, yeah, the project's gonna blow up and eventually like the producer stuff is gonna become like less important. It's gonna become like full like Fraxure artist project. Sometimes I'm like, it's just gonna continue being 50-50. Sometimes I'm like, man, like I do like being the guy behind the scenes sometimes, like helping people produce songs, making like products for other people, doing like lessons. So I feel like the answer is I don't really know, but I'm excited. Most of the time though, my answer is like I want to turn Fraxure into like a touring project and like I want to do a headline in Denver this year and like debut the album for a show. Like that's something that I'm trying to like work on right now.
Yeah, how do you think you get there?
I'm really a believer in like just the music resonating and it being like almost simple as that. I think I saw like a tweet from like Subtronics the other day that kind of like summed it up well. He was basically saying like, I understand people doing like content and I think that's like cool and fine, but I think at the end of the day, like what's going to pop you off is like music resonating. And that's what it was for me. That's what he said. That's what Subtronics said. And
shout out.
Yeah. And I hugely agree with that. I think any like artist that I know or look up to, the reason that I look up to them and like their stuff so much is because their music resonated with me and they had a sound that I was like, that's unique. I like what they're doing. So I hope that I can also do that. I hope that with this album, I move closer to doing that, or maybe I do that. I don't know. We'll see.
And is that, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is that just more time in the DAW, you think?
Yeah, more time in the DAW, break the rules. Don't be afraid to do something super unorthodox. Because I'm definitely on the quest to like, I don't know. So many people tell me that I'm like the sick producer or whatever. So I feel like I'm on a quest to see if I can like discover a new sound at some point, whether that's this year, next year, 5 years. Um, that's like my goal, and a lot of people that I look up to, I feel like that's what like they have done. Like, yeah, like Sudden Death, Sizzy, Subtronics. I mean, even like Tate, I feel like Gorilla T like has really defined a sound for himself, and he was able to do that like right off the bat with his career. LE 2%, I feel like he has a really like defined sound.
Do you think about what if you don't ever accomplish that?
It is what it is, but I hope that doesn't happen.
What do you think about it?
Not really. Have you seen Marty Supreme?
No.
There's like a scene where the person is asking him like, what if you fail? And he's like, that doesn't even enter my consciousness. So maybe that's kind of my answer. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't really think about it because I don't know if like thinking about like like that failure does anything for me.
Sure.
I know it's like a possibility. You know, there's a lot of like, I remember Getter said this when I was like just starting to make music. It was a quote from Getter. I don't know if it was like a video or tweet, but he was like, for some people it happens in like 2-4 years. Some people it never happens in terms of like the music career working or you blowing up. Like some people it never happens and you don't hear about those people because it never happened. So yeah, I hope that's not me, but anything's possible and I'm like willing to accept that, you know. I will die at peace as long as I know I tried.
Sure.
Yeah.
How do you think being more sensitive than the average person, or at least the average guy,
Sure,
has shaped your career so far?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always been hard for me to bridge the gap between like my sensitive personality and like dubstep. You know, I actually for like, what was the era we were talking about? Like 2022 when I graduated college, that era to like 2024, I actually was making like a lot of pop music on the side, like hyper pop, like kind of sad boy stuff, like high energy. Definitely like dubstep influence. I like love hyperpop. Huge influence from like Break-Ins, Eric DOA, Aries. Those are like the hyperpop goats, I would say. So I was making stuff like that. And when you make music like that, it's a lot easier to like bridge the sensitive side because you can literally just like put your feelings and words to like paper, you know. So I guess it's my sensitive side maybe has influenced my sensitive side has maybe influenced my career in terms of it's made me want to like explore like stuff like that so that I can like express more like emotion with words. And I mean I actually do want to like sing more on songs. The first and second tracks of like the album are with like my vocals and stuff.
Cool.
I've done like, I think there's a song like not a lot of people know about, but on Hostage Situations album, I've like the song Disconnected is my vocals.
And have you always been singing?
No, like probably 2022.
You just started randomly?
I just started randomly. Yeah. Wow. I have no musical background. I have like no.
Yeah, I just realized we never really touched on that, and there's a reason why, because there is no musical background.
I have no musical background. Didn't grow up playing an instrument at all or anything. So yeah, like even learning like musical scales for like just to stay in key on Ableton was like, you know, I had to learn that. I didn't know what was going on.
So I would love to like explore the more personal side to you.
Yeah, sure.
You mentioned that therapy has like led to 2x emotional growth for you.
Oh, interesting.
And so I'm really curious, what you mean by that.
I don't know. When I like reflect on going to therapy, I went to therapy for like 2 years and I my main reason for going to therapy was to try and like build some more self-awareness, because I've always been, I guess, like obsessed with trying to be as self-aware as possible, because I feel like the more self-aware you are, the happier life you can like lead, the better that you can be to other people in your life. Reading like books on self-awareness and stuff. So I went to therapy to basically get an unbiased opinion from a random stranger on the things going on in my life. So yeah, it's definitely like helped me build a good bit of self-awareness. If anything, I feel like it's just like kind of like confirmed some things that I've like always thought about myself. Like, am I really as an empathetic of a person as I think I am? Like, am I, like, I will literally ask her, like, am I more empathetic than like most people you see? And she's like, yeah, you're pretty, like, you might be too empathetic, is what she said to me before. Which, yeah, I can agree with. I think I have been too empathetic at times, which is like, can also result in you, like, you know, not putting yourself like first and stuff, you know, classic. So yeah, I don't know. Insights like that, just like little problems in my life that I'll come to her about, of like, am I in the right or wrong here?
Where do you think that curiosity comes from, though? Because I think there are probably a lot of people out there that aren't curious about,
Yeah.
am I right, am I wrong,
Yeah.
or aren't thinking about the things as deeply as you might be.
I don't know. I'm an idealist about myself. Like, I'm definitely one of those people that's like constantly improve yourself, or I don't know. I think that stuff is like kind of cringe when you phrase it that way, but I think it's good to always try to be a better person. Like, you're always trying to be a better person. I think everybody should do that. So and I see it as like a problem to solve. And I think that we as humans have a very unique opportunity, given that we are conscious, to reflect on our actions, and that gives us the ability to break out of the habits that we have as like animals. You know, judgment, racism. You know, we have the ability to break out of that stuff. Like the idea that I'm going to be like less friendly or open to somebody that doesn't look like me, because I want to be like familiar with, like, humans trust people that look more like them. We have the ability to like break out of that cycle because we're conscious. I don't know whether or not other animals are conscious. I'm not saying they're not. They could be. But as far as I know, I'm conscious. You're conscious. So I think we have a unique opportunity to improve ourselves. So we should do that.
So then how do you want to grow personally, right? So we talked a little about the career piece, but personally, let's say 5 years from now, how would you like to grow? Who would you like to be?
The growth that's like happening for me right now, or like the challenges that I'm facing, is like just getting more out of my comfort zone, being a little more like outgoing. Like, I could see myself in the next few years like transforming into more of a person that's like, yeah, I'm down to send it to Europe by myself. Most of my life, I've not been that kind of person.
Yeah.
Where I like to be a little more of a homebody, or if I'm gonna go to Europe, I need my brother, you know, because I don't want to go alone. But I kind of see myself becoming a little more like outgoing in that way, and interested in like having those experiences, and even things like performing, like doing a headline show and eventually making this project bigger. Like, if I'm really going to do this, I want to, you know, I want to have like a headline like Fraxure tour at some point in the next like 5 years. That like idea scares the shit out of me. I'd rather stay more comfortable, stay inside, just make music all day. Like, that's what I want to do. You know, so I think that's like the growth that's happening right now is like, yeah, I should do like a Denver headline show at some point, and it would be sick if I did it like for the release of the album. And that stuff is all really frightening to me, because I'm not necessarily a person that likes having like the spotlight on me.
Why not? Yeah, why is that frightening you?
I don't know. I think I might have just been like born that way a little bit. I think it's like by nature.
What's in your head? Like, what is the fear saying?
I have like a weird fear that I might be a narcissist or something. It's like an irrational fear. Like I would really hate if I got to see myself from the outside and I was like, wow, that person is like too full of themselves. And
It's
they're
fascinating.
like, yeah, and they're like, and it's like hurting the people around them. Like I that's like my biggest fear is that I'm like, not empathetic, or that I'm like, if I hate, the biggest fear is like if I say something that like offends somebody and they're like, hey, that hurt my feelings, that I'm the kind of person that's like, you shouldn't be hurt by that, like invalidating. Which, I mean, I think by having that like fear all the time is like made me a person that's not that way. I don't think a lot of people would describe me that way. But I think by having the spotlight on myself, sometimes it makes me feel like I don't want to be. I almost sometimes feel like my music and my project is not about me. It's like an extension of me. Like I just want people to focus on the music, not me. I'm like one of those people, I feel like, which is not like great and for being a DJ.
It's also ironic that you wanted to come on the pod.
I know, yeah. I'm doing things right now, to get out of my comfort zone, and like, yeah, there's definitely fears that I've like conquered through this journey. That's like the growth that I'm hoping to have in the next 5 years. I don't know. I just want to continue to try and be a more open-minded person and like ask people that I know in my life for feedback. Like Ellie, I feel like Ellie's been like very like influential to that. I feel like he does give me like good feedback. He'll tell me some shit when he doesn't think I'm like valid, or if he thinks that I could have handled a situation better, and I like really appreciate that. And I feel like that's really rare to find in a friend.
Sure.
And I do my best to do the same for him and all my other friends. And I have that like idealist mindset that I put on everybody else. So, yeah.
So outside of music, outside of like the deep personal things that you're working on.
Yeah.
You mentioned climbing earlier before we started the pod.
Climbing.
What do you enjoy outside of this stuff?
I mean, for one, like people ask me like, oh, what do you like to do besides music? But it's like I have all
used
these.
Used to be very big into F1. At least.
Yeah, I still
tweeting
am.
about it.
Yeah, the F1 seasons have been like kind of like mid recently. There was like, if anybody watching, or are you into F1?
I watch Drive to Survive. That's about it.
Okay, yeah. So but like Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
There was like the crazy season in like 2022. That's when I was like really into it. I've gone to like some Formula One races. Like I did go to France with my brother and his best friend, and we went to a F1 race. So yeah, I'm into F1. F1's sick. I still watch it. I have like all the music side hustles that like take up like 90% of my time. And it's nice that they're all like different. So they feel like kind of different hobbies, but still like music. But yeah, I like skied my entire life. I haven't gone skiing in like a year because this year was pretty bad in Colorado. No snow. And ski passes are like $1,000 now.
Yeah.
Which is like fire. So I don't know. Probably will hopefully get up to the mountains next year or something when the snow is better. But yeah, I've skied my whole life. I got into rock climbing or like bouldering, I guess. Like in like October last year, probably. I climbed with like a group of friends like 2 years ago. Like here and there, but I was like more into like lifting at the time. So I got into rock climbing recently because I was tired of lifting. And yeah, it's been sick. I didn't expect like all of the homies to be like coming. Like we have like a group chat with like, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like Ellie, Nate, like Exotics, Richie from Exotics is down to climb. Like it's awesome. Yeah, I thought I'd be climbing alone. But we just text every week and we're like
DJs at night. climbers during the day.
Climbers by day. Yeah. So yeah, climbing's super fun, and it's like nice to be able to like work out and just like talk about life.
Yeah.
And it's like super outside of music. Sometimes I like to drive, go to the racetrack with my brother and my dad.
That's cool.
My brother and my dad are like big car people. Yeah. Like very analytical and build cars. Very machine men. Which like I'm pretty into cars too, but they've like built like an engine together. Which I have not done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're nerds. It's pretty sick. But yeah, we've like gone to the like racetrack here and there.
Cool.
Like the car they built and stuff.
That's gnarly. Really unique.
I grew up like longboarding, like skateboarding, like all around town and stuff.
Mentioned that. So. Oh, it's a pretty well-rounded picture of you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we have a segment on this podcast where the last guest asks the next guest a question without knowing who that next guest is.
Yeah.
So AU5.
This is from AU5.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sick.
Asks, what is the most powerful thing you do to find yourself after losing yourself?
That's the most AU5 thing to say ever. It's like so deep.
When he texted me that, I was like, yeah, should have guessed. Yeah. I was like, I love this question, and I had a feeling it was going to be this.
What is the most powerful thing I do to find myself after I've lost myself? That's it. That was it?
That's it.
I feel like I will just like pour myself into like other forms of art. Like kind of what I was saying with like when I got inspired to make the album. Like I was really like pouring myself into like, I don't know, it's a Star Wars show, but if you haven't seen Andor, you gotta watch it. Among like other like just movies and films, I watched this like banger film on Netflix called Train Dreams. It is like gut wrenching. Like I was like sobbing in bed for basically 2 hours watching it. So I'll just like pour myself into stuff like that. I feel like sometimes I'll feel really emotional and I have so much control over my like emotions. I have a hard time crying, which is why I've like tweeted that stuff. So yeah, like watching movies like that will help me like get in touch with those emotions.
That's interesting. So you're using kind of external stimuli to elicit somatic bodily sensations.
Yeah.
To like connect you back to your body.
Yeah. That's what I talked about in like therapy a lot with like my girls. Like I feel like I have like so much control over like my emotions. Like I'm so easily able to like compartmentalize like how I'm feeling and like not cry. So I've improved a lot on that over the last like 2 years.
Like letting yourself cry.
Getting better at like when I can feel the emotion coming, like really like tapping in with like the actual thought and emotion that is like hurting me and like just thinking about it over and over so that it starts to come out. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it needs to come out.
Sure.
You know? So pouring myself into other forms of art and like talking about my feelings with my friends. Yeah, I have like a lot of good friends around me that I feel like I can talk about my emotions with, and it goes both ways, and it's been like a long journey finding that in friends, you know? So take an external stimuli or stimulus to elicit like emotional catharsis. That brings you back to yourself? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
I hadn't ever considered kind of that mechanism.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
really cool.
Like a bit of a routine.
Yeah.
Once a year thing, probably. Yeah.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
I think we're done. We just went deep.
Yeah. I can't believe that much time passed.
It's the portal.
Yeah, it is actually a portal. I
Yeah.
haven't yapped like that in a while, so thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you so much for coming, for being here,
Yeah,
for sharing.
of course, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. If any part of this episode resonated with you, I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like, comment, follow, or subscribe. It all really goes a long way. Much love.